This is United A-Holes, a video cast discussing cultural topics with no filter.
Welcome back to Area 41, Lee Iacocca's favorite spot on the internet. So, the premise that I kind of want to bounce off you guys is, have you noticed that shit that you buy nowadays?
Did we use Lee Iacocca before?
No.
Okay.
Changed.
Who did we use in the auto episode?
Henry Ford?
Henry Ford. Yeah, it was. It was Henry Ford.
All right.
Do we know why I'm bringing up Lee Iacocca, though?
Well,
Cheapening products, right?
Yeah.
Maximize profits by removing stuff.
Get a K car.
Yeah. I mean, brilliant. If you don't, at least they lowered their price to make it an affordable vehicle, which was...
Wasn't their slogan?
They had
you
a
should
plan.
have seen A through J.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, basically the premise is, I've noticed this a lot lately. I mean, there's an exception. If you want to pay a premium, you can still get premium. But what used to be your mid-tier product has gotten a lot cheaper feeling.
Yes.
You go buy even a relatively what I would consider to be a medium to high-end television, and the backing and the casing around the screen and the bezels and the whatever, all the peripheral feel a little cheaper than they used to. Or, you know what I mean? Like
and stuff doesn't last like it used to.
Nothing does. Washing machines, dryers, none of that stuff lasts like it used to.
Buy the extended warranty, folks.
Yeah, seriously. It's saved my ass a few times.
Yeah.
But I've noticed it on just about everything. I would give an exception to cell phones. If anything, they've gotten better.
It's funny you mentioned that because I saw an ad today. Alan Moore. Do you know the name?
No.
Yeah.
Okay. You do?
In comics.
Oh. Anyway, he was trying to sell this new phone, X1. Have you heard that one?
I've heard of the X1.
Apparently, Alan Moore was a lead product designer for another major cell phone company.
Not the same Alan Moore.
Probably not.
Safe bet.
He was the lead product designer for one of the major cell phone companies who outsourced all their materials to China over time and ended up firing his whole department. He was allowed to move to China if he wanted to keep his job. He didn't. So he started his own cell phone company, the X1, he called it. But he lists in his advertisement all the reasons why he built this phone is because every other major manufacturer is using cheaper and cheaper parts and making it more and more expensive. And then he cites, what was it, the Note 9 that you sat on it and it would break.
Yeah.
Or Apple, you drop it and the glass breaks. Or any other of these phones that just seems to be harder and harder to keep in good condition.
Yeah.
So if you say cell phones, I got to disagree. Because I believed everything in that ad as I watched it. And then I didn't buy his phone, so...
Yeah, I guess what I'm basing it off of, I bought in the smartphone market at the Galaxy S series, the S1, the very first one. It wasn't called an S1, it was just called the S.
Right.
It was a soft plastic back. Of course, it had a removable battery, so it had to be pliable plastic. The screen was not Gorilla Glass. It was a plasticky, almost like a Nintendo screen for a DS kind of feel to it. Maybe a little tougher, but not very much. The buttons actually wore out before the phone died. So my power button stopped working because that was a lock-on-lock button, etc. So me, it felt janky, even though that was their premium launch product. As it went through, I went from the S1 to the S3 to the S5 to 7 and the 8. The 8 by far is the most premium device out of all of them that I've had. So I would argue they've improved the quality of that device. Not saying the ones under it weren't failing or falling behind or using that same methodology, but from 1 to 8, the build quality of that device got better. Now, not saying that the components inside of it are better. Maybe the chip, there was a period I bailed on Samsung partway through my smartphone adventure and bought a LG G4.
Yeah.
And both of us had the same thing happen where the solder joints were so bad on the main CPU inside the thing that when it heated up, it would disconnect, and that's it. Your phone's dead. That's it. So that's what happened to the G4. It was 2 years old when it happened, so it lived the lifespan of expectation for a smartphone in today's society, but it was still like not something I could hand off to one of the kids or to somebody else or give it to somebody.
It literally was
It
done.
was just, that's it.
Yep.
2 years over, done. And there was no warranty. And now, if we were in the States, there was a class
Yeah,
action
class
lawsuit
action
that
lawsuit.
you got, I don't know, 50 or $75 from LG. Say thanks, sorry, blah, 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 buy a new phone, please. We fixed it, supposedly. But I won't give them a chance much. But I've noticed like a lot of things, like even I'm looking around the room, stereo components, DVD players or media players of any type, receivers from cable and satellite providers and Bell, whoever else, all those things from my starting into having things of my own at the age of 20 something to now have gotten cheaper and flimsier and crappier as time goes on. I just wonder if you guys have experienced the same thing or not. Like,
No, big time.
prime example, even the inside of my car. I mean, it looks nice.
Is it true, or is he just getting older?
It's both.
No,
Is
it's true.
it a generational thing where
No,
he's going,
it's
stuff
definitely-
wasn't built like it used to be back in my day. Had a cassette player in my car that's lasted for, well, it's still going far as I
How
know.
is your CD player in your Jeep?
Full of dust. That's my fault.
I would argue they shouldn't put a shitty CD player inside of
Yeah.
a vehicle that's all terrain.
Right.
But
No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
it should have a protected, sealed gate. Anyway,
Badly designed.
maybe we've talked about that. Keyboards, another one. Unless you buy a premium $200 plus friggin' computer keyboard. I mean, they all work.
I mean, I
but-
paid 150 and it's rubbed lettering off within a year. So
Right.
yeah.
That's another. Mice is another one. My first gaming mouse, I can't remember what model it was now, 5 whatever, Logitech G502 or 520 or whatever it was, lasted until the cord got, my mistake, pulled too hard once, and that was it. And now it's a year and a half, and I'm buying a new mouse every friggin' time I turn around.
Did yours have the weights in it?
Yes.
You could wait.
Oh, yeah.
I love those.
You remember that?
I had the G7.
I can't remember. It was a Logitech mouse, but I can't remember what the model of it was. It was my big red mouse.
GX500.
Yeah. It's still running.
Yeah. Exactly. The only problem is the DPI isn't quite where modern mice are. But as far as build quality goes,
Yeah,
you didn't
build
get tougher
quality.
than that. I mean, even motherboards, if you go back and look at older motherboards and
But-
computers.
Is that partially all of this the fault of the consumer who's looking for that product, but they want that they've got a certain price point and they won't go above it?
Yes.
So
I
the
agree with
companies are not necessarily at fault. The general public is not willing to put money into something that will last longer. So they have to find corners to cut in order to say, here's the new thing, and we didn't raise the price by much. As a matter of fact, we're making it cheaper. And people go, great, I'll take one.
Yes, MX500. Thank you for that. That was one of the ones. That was an elite piece of kit, that one. It was good back in the day. Everyone had them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say it's partially that. I also think it's the fact that they know people are going to buy the new hotness. And they're
The whole cult.
and there is a thing where, for whatever reason, in the last 10 years, we've given passes to brands on making a bad product and still believing that they make good products too.
Yeah.
Like there was a time where if it was stamped as a, I'll use Logitech as the example. If it was stamped Logitech, you knew it was going to kick some ass.
Yep.
Yeah.
But now you can buy into Logitech at a $39 price point,
Yeah.
and it's the same Chinese piece of shit that you would get as a no-name from Amazon, unbranded, just with their logo on it, but they're using their name as a leverage point to get you to buy their product.
Yeah.
Then you can move, up their scale, and there's a point where you cross over. It's almost like you can buy the Chinese made one, and then there's a point where it crosses over. And now you can buy the American made or German made or Japanese made or whatever of the same brand. It's just their upper echelon quality, right?
Yeah.
Where they demarcate it with a model number to make you feel okay about it, because they want to service that cheap market as much as they want to service the
They
expensive.
want all the monies.
Right.
Yeah.
They don't want to just be known as the high-end mouse company. They want to be the mouse company.
Yeah.
So
And also, it's like we could sell you one $100 mouse every 10 to 15 years, or we can sell you a $30 mouse every fucking year.
Yeah, absolutely. What about you? Do you see anything in your line of work? I know it's not tech related per se.
Oh, sure it is with all the technology.
I
that's
suppose,
in
yeah,
the
they're starting to stick
appliances,
more
yeah.
stuff in it, right?
The thing is, and we hear it from everybody, they don't make stuff like they used to. So what have you got? I have people that just come in and go, "What's the cheapest washer and dryer you got? Just take me to that." So you walk out and you go, "There it is. Is that the best you can do? That's the price it is every day, all day long. It doesn't get any cheaper than that. You got some here? Take it with me. I don't care. I'm going to see you in another 3 years anyway." Like there's people that are just defeated.
Yeah.
And they're done. And they've come to the point where they don't even want to talk about the nicer brands because they've just given up on the whole thing. So clearly,
Because they got burned on a set
Right.
somewhere along the way.
but we actually have a set that is the other direction. They have put, I'll throw Maytag's name out there because that's who it is. They have 5 years parts and labor on, like you don't see that on anything.
That is amazing.
And it is commercial for home use. And when people say, "I want a washer like I had 20 years ago," I take them to it. And the unfortunate thing is the industry has started to talk about washer capacity. And so they lift the lid and go, "That's too small." I'm like, no. That's what you had 20 years ago. Well, no, I want the big, no. That's what you had 20 years ago. It has an agitator. It has a 4 cubic foot drum. And it has all the other stuff that you want and all the other shit that you don't want. It's twice as much money, but it's also guaranteed parts and labor for 5 years. And occasionally I get customers that go, "Yeah, you know what? I want that." And I've had no negative
See,
feedback.
now knowing that exists, hearing that from you, that is where I will be shopping for that. Because
There you go.
that's one thing I'll say is I've had one washer and dryer, knock on something wooden, has lasted an amazingly long time.
Yeah.
I've looked after it. I mean, I do maintenance and everything else that should be done.
Yeah.
My brother-in-law bought a new set 7 years ago and just replaced it here 2 years ago. So he got 5 years out of it, and he thought that was acceptable. But they have one of those mass with no agitator washers, and I don't know. It had a bunch of digital buttons on it, push buttons, and
There's a lot of improper usage out there too.
yeah, absolutely.
It's laundry day.
Everything goes in.
Yeah.
That doesn't wash anything. The clothing doesn't even move. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. It doesn't. There's a wash plate on the bottom and you've put so much weight on it that it's just going.
And
The stuff on the top's not moving and it's not wet. No, it's
Not wet.
It's not wet. They fill it full of clothes, they turn it on and let it fill full of water, and then they take the hose and squirt in the top of it to get her the rest of the way to the maximum capacity. What about you, Ken? You work in an industry where you would see this.
Well, since it is actually kind of my topic, we have to remember that most manufacturers are not interested in sustaining any type of technology in today's times because it's moving so quickly. This will be my 20th Christmas this year selling electronics. And there used to be a time when
You're going to have to come back to that.
I would be doing something and the owner of the business would walk by me and go, "What are you working on?" "So-and-so's TV went bad." And it would be a major thing. He goes, "A bad one?" And now he just walks by me and says, "How's the service?" Do I even want to know? There's been a couple of eye openers. The first one that I got was from when there actually used to be service that was readily available in my industry. One day, the guy that was based in Fredericton, who's no longer in business, was working on a TV in our basement. And I walked by him and I said, "How's it going?" And this is when plasma was out and it was at the forefront and it was the new and it was so great and everything. And he said, "Come over here, I want to show you something." And I said, "What's that?" And he goes, "You see those capacitors right there?" I said, "Yeah." And he goes, Do you know that they're not strong enough to sustain the life of this television, what it's rated for?
Wow.
I said, are you kidding me? He goes, no. No, I'm not. And that's when I started to realize that there was a change in the industry. And then over the years, you would say, like, for example, there was a manufacturer that was on the market that trumped everybody because they had the best manufacturer's warranty.
Yeah.
And then they cut it in half. Then you saw things like manufacturers were saying, if you have a customer that has an issue with this TV in the first year, we will automatically just give them a brand new one. After the first year, we're offering no service
Yeah.
or no involvement in this product. And that's when you started to see, and these aren't like your off no-name brands. These are actual people that are in the game that,
Oh,
you know.
I had a brand name one that I bought elsewhere, not from you, and it was 3 days past the year mark that it went and shut off. And then and they're like, nope, sorry. I'm like, it was like we're 3 days. And yes, it's a year old plus 3 days. Nope, sorry. So I vowed to never buy any of their TVs again.
They're
And I
not
have
stocking parts for them anymore. They're not, you know.
No, it's disposable. Everything's
Yeah.
disposable. We need you to buy a new one every year until the market keeps running.
And there's
People stop consuming and we're all fucked.
That's right. And there's people that have come in and go, okay, so let me get this straight. You're selling their product here in Woodstock, but you're telling me that they don't have an authorized service center remotely even close? Nope.
It's cheaper to give you another TV if you're in your warranty period than it is to have a service center, pay service guys, pay guys to travel to do the work, yada, 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 yada.
Well, why don't
Here's
you
another
guys
TV.
do it? Why don't you guys do it?
Same reasons.
The reason why we aren't like an authorized so-and-so is because they won't let us become an authorized so-and-so.
No, they don't.
Like,
That's
they
not
don't
part of it.
want you to have the ability to work on their stuff.
No.
There's,
Cheaper
Anyway.
to mass produce than
Yeah.
it is to fix.
there's a brand of washer and dryer that we don't sell, but we have people come in to say, can you get me parts for so-and-so? And we're like, sorry, no, they're very hard to find if at all. And we really don't have the inclination to go looking for it because it's just not worth it. And we've had people buy from us because they just needed one part for their washer, but they can't find it anywhere. So they throw away a washer that's 2-3 years old and buy one because we have service.
Yep.
So I'm a firm believer in extended warranty
Oh, me
because
too.
it's the only way that you're going to get looked after.
How we ended up
But,
with my
you know,
65-inch TV.
Somebody stands up in a boardroom and says, Model XRV, we have an issue with the diodes.
Yeah.
So
So let them run through.
3 years from now, this technology won't be on the market. We'll be on to something else.
Yeah.
I mean,
How much time we got left before they're all out of warranty? Well, let me see. We got 27 months, and the models that are out there should be done by that point. We've got this much stock sitting. Yeah, okay, let it ride.
So I'll ask this question. Is there a specific product in your life that you will spend the extra money to go up to the point where you're buying a premium product that is guaranteed to last longer? Or are we all succumbing to the throwing it away in 3 years or 2 years or whatever it is?
I used to think that there was a product that, you know, if you did put some money into it, then you were okay. Because the old expression, how many times have we heard our parents say, I can't afford to buy cheap because I'm not rich.
Right.
Yeah,
Yes.
you know.
Yeah.
But more and more, I'm seeing the Cadillacs go down in greater frequency than, you know, ever before.
Yeah.
But in terms, you're right about, you know, like even when you're like moving something You know, it's kind of like, oh, I really didn't think that I was
squeezing
it too
it's
hard.
like
but
literally
I
a
can,
Coke bottle.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I picked one up for a customer of yours. You know the one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Hung it on the wall for this person, and I knew it was a fairly premium product that she had purchased. And when I put that TV up on the stand, I was scared of it. So I was like, holy crap, this thing is flimsy. Way flimsier than what I thought it should be for what its price would be.
How many years does the TV industry have left for physical product before we get to some far out rollout?
Oh, the rollout is here already.
Yeah, the flexible screen.
No, but
They're going to keep it as physical for as long as possible. So, technologically speaking, they're on their last legs, but consumer-wise, it's a ways away.
Okay.
Yeah, we're 20 or 30 years before a big shift happens between what we're seeing there and what the next level will be.
We had a choice
So then in
to bring one of those roll-up things
seeing
in.
the slight change.
You're already starting to see it. There's things out there now that are a combination of, like Ken said, was it LG or Samsung that put the rollout out 2 years ago at CES? LG.
How many years before we just plug into the matrix and watch stuff inside of our head? Because that's what I'm waiting
not
for.
far away. Provided you're asocial,
VR.
you can do it now. You can do VR screens now.
There you
Oh,
go.
where you put the glasses on, it looks like you're watching like
No, I want to plug it right
a
into my brain.
65 inch.
They're ways away from
I
that.
want to
So
log off and log on. And
They have
log
technology
out.
right now that interacts with the brain, but I'm not going to say it's plug-in. And I don't think they've successfully put images into your head yet. They are definitely using brain activity to get things out.
Oh, there you go. Perfect.
What
So
kind
it's
of
not that
stuff?
far. Commands.
Like
you know.
what kind of commands? Like do it right.
Yes.
Do a sumo.
Little tighter. Little tighter. No, it's too tight. Too tight. Back off.
So there isn't a product anyone would buy premium level?
Vehicles.
I bought an Xbox One X
It's
and a PlayStation 4 Pro because I wanted to play in 4K.
it's
Still, I wouldn't say they're premium.
Yeah,
so
but as I say, what's your alternative?
1080.
the build quality is
Yeah,
the
but
same.
you bought that too.
Yeah.
there's
Yeah, I had those. I had those before the other ones came out.
So
you could say at one time that I'm not going to buy this new stuff now because I'll wait till they get the kinks out of it. I'm experiencing with one certain type of technology now that it's in its fourth year and it's getting worse. And instead of better, it's actually getting worse.
Yeah, there's a good one. Parts. If you buy
Yeah.
components, computer components, obviously you want to buy brand name.
Yeah.
I would argue that I once bought, again, it's personally on me, I personally spend probably more than I should when I purchase in this market. But anything music, band, audio related,
Yeah.
I go premium every time. Only because I've bought the cheap shit in the past and I've seen how short-lived that happens to be.
Yeah.
So, some people spend $350 on a drum kit. I spend $350 on a cymbal stand.
That's why you're so
But I've
good.
still got one. All my stands right now I bought in 2010 or before. This is 2019, and apart from maybe a little bit of surface speckle rust from sweat,
Yeah.
they're still
that's
brand
why
new.
you're Canada's greatest drum.
Now, there is one thing that I don't skip
Try.
on for buying is I don't buy cheap shoes. I bought a pair of cheap shoes once, and after wearing them one night, I threw them the fuck out.
Shoes and technology.
Well,
I
shoes
said
were the
that-
very first technology, right? That's it.
2 liter bottles.
Shoes.
2 liter bottles and twine. That's all we need. You take the 2 liter bottle, you lay it down, you step on it, and then you take the twine and poke around it, tie it up, you're set. You can walk on anything with this fucking.
There you go.
They do that in Africa all day long.
Plus, you could like ski in them in the summer, in the wintertime.
All right. I'm waiting to hear what Helen has to say on keto.